Սիրելի բարեկամներ, մեր հաջորդ ակնարկը նվիրված է Սփյուռքի ձայնահեռուստահանդեսի պրոդյուսեր Հայկ Քոչարյանի արվեստին եւ նաեւ վերջերս նրա նոր ֆիլմի ցուցադրությանը։
Last week, the students and faculty of Landmark College in Vermont had an opportunity to spend an exciting and informative evening with Haik Kocharian, writer, musician, photographer, and director. The evening included a photography show and a private screening of Haik Kocharian's upcoming film, Please Be Normal. Landmark College sets a high standards for academic performance. The college believes in presenting high expectations while operating at the level where each student is prepared to learn and succeed. Situated in the gallery at Landmark's spacious Fine Arts Building, the photography section of the event included a presentation of mounted photographs from Kocharian's black and white images collection, as well as a slideshow of his work. The artist had an opportunity of meeting the students, Art Department Chair Huberto Ramirez, and other faculty members to discuss his work in a one-on-one intimate setting. Afterwards, the president of Landmark College, Dr. Peter Eden, introduced the artist, and a lively and an engaging Q&A with the students followed, during which Haik Kocharian talked about his art and touched on a variety of subjects. People are the same everywhere, replied Haik Kocharian to a student's question about his travel experiences as a photographer around the world.
Yes, I traveled the world, and recently in July I came from a trip from Kenya, Rwanda, and Burundi. And I can tell you only one thing, is that beneath the cultural makeup, which is beautiful in its own right, beneath the economical status, beneath the countries, we are identical. We are identical. We all have same issues, we have same aspirations, we all have same concerns, and that's just wonderful.
To the questions regarding his music, Haik Kocharian said,
music has always been part of my life. Growing up, it's always been part of my life. And I've played since age of 5. There was a period in my life when there was this strange question of like, oh, well, which direction should I go? Should I make films? Should I do photography? Should I write music? And, you know, I kind of thought about it for a day or two, and then I thought, you know, I love this stuff. You know, I mean, playing music makes me free and happy. Why would I give it up? That makes no sense. And I'm glad I didn't. I have 3 albums now. I just recently had a CD release party at Joe's Pub. It's an ongoing creative process like any other. And this album particularly, it's called Children's Album, but just FYI, it's not for children, it's for adults. Music is a very big part of my life, and I write serious poetry, and I write my music, and I collaborate with wonderful artists, and I love it.
Haik Kocharian also spoke about the photographs he took during Hurricane Sandy in downtown Manhattan. These photographs later were chosen to be in a group exhibition organized by the International Center of Photography at the City Museum of New York.
When Hurricane Sandy happened, I live in Manhattan. My studio is in East Village, but my residence is near Wall Street, all the way downtown. And obviously it was a devastating event for most of Eastern United States. But I was there, and I can only share sort of what happened to us, and it was absolutely horrific. You know, New York has always been invincible to me. You know, you go downtown, and there's these grandiose buildings and wealth and influence, and it's all true, and it's all there. And you think nothing in the world can change this. But then Sandy happened, we lost electricity, and Wall Street was in raging ocean. It wasn't a flood as we know it in a conventional sense. There were waves bouncing against the buildings. And we went out with another journalist from Bloomberg News, and we spent most of the night photographing the event. It was humbling, definitely. It was eye-opening, it was very tragic.
Nothing is going to change my world, was Haik Kocharian's reply when he was asked by a student to give a philosophical advice about a life as an artist.
When I was in Brooklyn College, for some strange reason, there was a period of about 6 months where a song from Beatles, like one quote from Beatles, was spinning in my head, and I would just keep repeating that, and it's nothing's gonna change my world. So that's what I would say. You have your world, you have your identity, and nothing should change it, nothing. Because there's so many pressures and so many stuff that, in my opinion, doesn't really matter a whole lot. So stick to your spirit, stick to your drive, your glue, and everything will come. Money will come, all of that stuff will come, because that's where the power is. So stick to your world.
Later that day, Haik Kocharian's film, Please Be Normal, was screened in the Brooks O'Brien Auditorium. Haik Kocharian has written and directed 6 short films, including Charlie, which won the 13 WNET Reel 13 Shorts competition in 2007 and was broadcast on Channel 13. He wrote and co-produced his first feature, Manhattan Romance, a French-American production starring Isilde Lebesco and Jean-Marc Barr, which was screened at ARPA International Film Festival in October of this year. His new feature film as a writer, director, producer, Please Be Normal, starring Sam Waterston, Elizabeth Waterston, Louis Cancelmi, and Dana Eskelsen, is set to be released in early 2014. The film explores family relationships and offers a critical look at driven lifestyles focused on material gain. The catharsis of the film occurs in a pristine natural setting in Connecticut. Beautiful images of nature represent an escape from conformity, a dichotomy of opposite worlds, nature versus industry, spiritual versus material. The film was very well received by both students and faculty members.
I really liked Haik's photography, particularly the perspective of taking some shots from behind. That gentleman lumbering his way out of the subway was a wonderful image. So I love this particularly his black and white photography. The film was great. I think everybody understood that for such an enigmatic young man, folks wanted him to just be normal, and they understood you can't crawl inside his head and change him one bit. And that kind of frustration, I think, a lot of parents feel with their children, and so I thought it was quite poignant. And I love the cinematography. I love the forest scenes in the winter. It reminded me of Ang Lee and also some Jim Jarmusch work as well. So I thought it was wonderful, and the students here loved it.
Working with Haik has been just a pleasure, eye-opening, sometimes challenging, but overall just a wonderful experience for me. Personally, I think he has a lot of talent. I totally believe in him. The actors gave very strong performances, every single one. Very proud of all that they did for the film. I think it's going to touch many people. It speaks to people all over the world. It's a universal challenge we all face in our lives, coming to terms with who we are, who we want to be, and find the middle. And I think this is the beginning of a wonderful career for him.
What I really like in a film is to see a filmmaker that goes out on the edge, that takes chances and risks to really express something unique. And this film definitely achieves that. Not only is it unique, but it's visually beautiful. And it also makes us all pause and get a little uncertain, a little uncomfortable as we think about our own lives and what is really important to us and what happiness means and what normalcy means.
A Q&A that followed this screening lasted well into the evening, with the audience members asking many insightful and thought-provoking questions. It was encouraging to see the students having a strong connection to the story and its characters, a good omen to the future success of the film.
Cars and money, birthdays, children, aging parents. I'm having system overload. Cost of living, subway, neighbors, cats, friends, health insurance. I'm having system overload. Water, just give me water. Whoa.
fight again. Walking, driving, competition, house, job, suicidal, I'm having system overload. Alter future disagreements, sexual